Hey everyone, before we get into today's episode of Rise Up Rundown, I have something big to share with you all. It was not easy at all, but after nearly 2 years, it is finally here. My first ever digital comic is now available on YouTube with the link in the description below. But this comic is like no other. This one can be viewed on YouTube with music and sound effects to improve your experience reading this wild story. The characters in this comic hold a very special place in my heart, and I've been working with these guys since 2007, when I was only 8 years old. Just drawing these guys with pencil and paper and stapling them and to make it a short little comic. Very surprisingly, I had never introduced the world to these guys until now. These are the characters I truly feel I want to work with for the rest of my life, whether it be in comics, animation, whatever it may be. I hope these guys join the amazing world of entertainment and keep a smile on everyone's face as it did to mine. Even if you're not into comics or entertainment at all, it means the absolute world to me if you would go check out this comic and tell me what you think. Again, the link is in the description below. Also, follow my Instagram page at NinjaRat4 for more comic news. I'm planning on making monthly comics and one movie-length special comic every single year. Ninja 4 Survival to the Summit includes a movie-length special for a video, music and sound effects to improve your experience while reading the story, a note from me and an epilogue at the end, and last but not least, the comic will probably blow your mind. It means the absolute world to me if you would go check out this comic and let me know what you all think. I'm very proud of it, and I hope that you enjoy it just as much as I did. But with all of that being said, let's get straight into today's episode of Rise Up Rundown. What's going on, Falcons fans? Logan here. Welcome back to Rise Up Rundown, and if you're new here, welcome. Sorry for the later upload than usual. Usually I upload my videos at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern, Tuesdays and Fridays. I did upload this one a little later on a Tuesday. My life has just been pretty busy lately, but busy or not, the show must go on. In this episode, we're going to go over a topic that I feel I've actually been wanting to talk about for a while now, and I didn't even realize it. The 3 sleeper teams the Atlanta Falcons should not sleep on heading into the season. Now, according to the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons have the 3rd easiest schedule. I do not agree with that whatsoever. I think we have a lot of tough teams to play, like the Super Bowl champions Tampa Bay Buccaneers twice a year. And then you got to play the New England Patriots on a Thursday night, especially. At least we're home, I guess. And then you got to play the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, the San Francisco 49ers. Not to mention that there's some matchups that are going to be tough locations to travel to, I guess. Like, we got to go to London. We got to go to San Francisco. I don't think it's an easy schedule whatsoever. And these 3 teams I'm going to talk about today kind of prove my point, because these are teams that we should not sleep on at all. And I really advise the Atlanta Falcons, I guess, to please not overlook these opponents. The first team I would not sleep on, it's a team that admittedly I don't want to talk about them, but I'll just be honest with you, man. I would not sleep on the New Orleans Saints. Sure, Drew Brees is gone, and the Saints don't really have a lot of receivers to work with. Like, Michael Thomas should never have been in that top 3 wide receiver category, and then Jared Cook is gone. So, yeah, there's not really a lot of offensive weapons, I guess you could say. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Emmanuel Sanders has gone too. But I would not sleep on this Saints team because, first off, they do still have a good defense with Cam Jordan and Marshawn Lattimore. And then I also do trust that Sean Payton is probably going to find a way to make this team still a contender. I'll just be honest with you. Jameis Winston, he is who he is. He is going to throw a turnover every now and then. But surely with a, better coach than Bruce Arians was. Now, Bruce Arians is great, but I think Sean Payton, it's kind of an unpopular opinion, but I think Sean Payton is a better coach than Bruce Arians. I think Jameis Winston will kind of slightly turn his career around. And even if Jameis Winston isn't going to play, Taysom Hill can still do some good things. And the Saints O-line is also pretty steady. Not to mention, the Falcons have been struggling with this team for a while now. Ever since 2017, when the Saints beat us, not only do they beat us, but it seems like they absolutely demolish us, right? On both Thanksgivings, 2018 and 2019, the Saints really, like, the Falcons stood no chance against them. And then last year, yeah, sure, the Falcons had an almost comeback, but even in the beginning, we were kind of getting demolished. And then the other game in New Orleans, I feel like we were getting demolished. We've been struggling with this team. And then the last thing to note here, it's a divisional rival. Duh. Of course, they're going to bring in the challenge for the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons have been struggling with that team. And sorry, I'm not sleeping on the Saints. I hate to say it, but I'm not. The second team I wouldn't sleep on, you're probably going to laugh, but I wouldn't sleep on the New York Jets. And the reason I'm saying this is because the New York Jets can't quite possibly be that same team we saw just a year ago. First off, surely Robert Saleh is a better head coach than Adam Gase, right? Anyone has to be better than Adam Gase, you would think. And then their quarterback also, I think, is better than Sam Darnold, even though he didn't play yet. You guys know that over the offseason, I was pretty damn high on Zach Wilson. I still am. I still think he's going to be a good player. And a lot of people are saying he's going to be a bust because of his character issues. While that is for a different time, I do think Sam Darnold was just kind of too much of a nice guy. He didn't really bring in that energy that the Jets needed. And I think Zach Wilson probably might bring in a little bit of swagger, kind of like what Baker Mayfield and Joe Burrow do for their team. They kind of bring in that energy and that swagger to kind of elevate their team to higher standards. And I think Zach Wilson actually might bring in that swagger the Jets kind of needed after a pretty miserable season and really all these miserable years in general. They just need a bit of a turnaround. And it's not even that. Zach Wilson, I just think can play, dude. Like, I think he is an absolute baller. And the Jets defense is actually somewhat getting better. They actually drafted some good defensive players as well. Really, their draft as a whole was really good. So they could be bringing in some good rookies. And last thing to note here, this game is in London. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the Atlanta Falcons struggle in London. They suck in London. They really do. They absolutely suck on the road, to be honest with you. It seems like they kind of always have a little bit of trouble when they're on the road. So I would not at all sleep on the New York Jets. And the matchup in general, we actually are supposed to be home for this game, but we're not. We're going to be going to London. This is not a team to sleep on. And we definitely shouldn't sleep on the fact that we're going to London. I hope we're very prepared for that. And then the third team that we shouldn't sleep on, it's another team you're going to laugh at, but the Detroit Lions. I also, kind of like the New York Jets, I actually predicted that the Lions and the Jets would have themselves a good draft, and I would say they have themselves a pretty good draft. The Lions, well, let's not talk about the Jets anymore. Let's talk about the Lions. They really upgraded that offensive line with Penei Sewell, and I'm just incredibly surprised that the Bengals nor the Dolphins took him. And the Detroit Lions have a pretty good O-line, especially for a quarterback that needs good blocking. Jared Goff is not this bad quarterback. Is he better than Matt Stafford? No, but I mean, he does need that elite blocking, and the Lions have themselves a pretty good O-line. So Jared Goff could sling things around in Detroit. And they actually got some playmakers there as well. Not to mention the running game is freaking elite with DeAndre Swift. So that offense is going to be a problem. Now, with the defensive side of the ball, I guess it is kind of a wait and see, but Dan Campbell looks like he's kind of excited to be the head coach for the Detroit Lions, so we'll see what happens there. But the Atlanta Falcons, they actually seem to struggle against the Detroit Lions. They'll seem to always have this close game against them. It's kind of weird. Like in 2014 in London, I don't know if we stood a chance on that one, but we struggled. And then in 2017, a really tight matchup. Frankly, we should have lost that game, but we kind of got bailed out by the refs. And then in 2020 last year, we did not need to choke that game, but we did. Todd Gurley scored. His fault. You get the idea. So we actually kind of struggle against this team. And just because Matt Stafford's not there, I don't think means that we're just not going to struggle. So the New Orleans Saints, New York Jets, and the Detroit Lions, I would not sleep on those teams. I mean, do I think we're going to win that? Yeah, I mean, I think we'll at least win one game to the New Orleans Saints, and then we should come on top. There's a fly. I'm sorry about that. I think we should come out on top versus the Jets and the Lions, but not an easy win. Do not take it for granted. But those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Other than that, I will see you guys with a video this Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Love and appreciate you all for the support. And as always, rise up.